Now, in the Philippines, the Bataan nuclear plant was a failed venture, but this mothballed nuclear power plant could soon be revived. It was first built during Ferdinand Marcos's dictatorship. He could revive that plant. The Bataan nuclear plant sits just 59 feet above sea level. It was built near several volcanoes in a fragile part of the country. The land near the plant is also vulnerable to seismic activity. So there were always concerns about Bataan's design and location. But the $2.2 billion plant was built regardless. It became a monument, in fact, to the greed and graft of the Marcos era. Later, it was left dormant after the dictator was toppled in 1986.
You leave your houses without no one staying there for preservation. Maybe a year, it will be, the ceiling goes down, your many animals, something, the spider web, something like that. So when we are here, we just make sure that the plant is a good look, preserved.
The Bataan plant has never produced a single watt of power, yet it costs the taxpayers over $670,000. Instead of producing electricity, the relic is now a tourist destination. But Marcos Jr. has different plans. He has vowed to speed up the adoption of nuclear power. This also means he could revive his father's failed venture. But upgrading the aging facility could be a problem. The nuclear plant is fitted with outdated analog technology. So adopting new technology could take at least 4 years and cost another $1 billion. The Philippines is regularly affected by electricity outages. It currently relies on coal for more than half of its power generation. Many, in fact, argue that nuclear energy offers a cleaner option to meet the demand. But others say that wind or solar energy are safer options, especially in a country that is regularly hit by earthquakes, typhoons, and volcanic eruptions.
Entering the Philippines' only nuclear power plant is like a step back in time. The Bataan nuclear power plant was built in the 70s and was the first in Southeast Asia. But it never opened. It was mothballed, and past presidents were hesitant to recommission it because it was a reminder, they say, of the excesses of former President Ferdinand Marcos's regime. But the country's electricity prices are among the highest in Southeast Asia, partly because its dependence now on imported fossil fuels. That means the average Filipino family spends between 10 to 20% of their monthly income in electricity.
Philippines has for decades now been avoided as an investment destination in Southeast Asia because our electricity has either been too expensive or in short supply and unreliable.
Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered his officials to look into the possibility of including nuclear power into the country's energy mix and the possible revival of the Bataan nuclear power plant.
It tells the whole world we're ready for nuclear. BNPP has 3 sister plants that have been running for over 30 years. Exact same design. They are in Slovenia, in Brazil, and in South Korea. But what people forget is that no nuclear plant in the world operates without the blessings of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the watchdog.
It is quite clear that some parts of the nuclear power plant are aging. But regulators here tell us all it needs is a few years and an estimated $1.2 billion of commissioning, and it will be as good as brand new. But there are also those in government who say the Bataan nuclear power plant belongs to a bygone era.
There's already a big pushback on nuclear technology itself. Now you're going to jumpstart a plant which is old and embroiled in controversy. We don't want to start our nuclear program in the wrong foot. You want to start it in the right foot.
Environmental activists also believe that the government should focus on producing clean energy instead, like wind and solar. But whether Bataan will be recommissioned by President Rodrigo Duterte or not, one thing they say is for sure. The energy crisis in the country is a social justice issue, and one that may worsen if there is no investment in the country's energy system. Jamela Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Bataan Province, Northern Philippines.